Since Brother Joe's retirement this past February the 13th, I have had the opportunity to spend some time just reflecting on the history of this church. It's obvious that many pastors and members have made great sacrifices to give us the facilities that we have right now. But it's not the time now to look to the past, but look to the future, because God has given us the opportunity and the privilege of not only seeking out a senior pastor for our church, but also the challenge of building a new auditorium where we as a group of people of God can come together and to worship. God has been faithful to us each time that we have decided to do a building project. In fact, over the last 35 years, we have built a new educational space, office space, a family life center, and we have completely redone our current auditorium. Each one of these building programs have been done by faith and prayer and the sacrificial giving of so many of our people. And I know that the members of our church have felt like at times perhaps these were not needed. But now I only hear people saying, how did we get by without them? And so I'm looking forward to our church going into this new phase of building a sanctuary that almost seems improbable, if not impossible. As we anticipate building this new sanctuary, it is not unusual for someone to ask, how are we going to pay for this? That's a normal question. That's a question that we should be asking ourselves. I go back into the Old Testament and look at Exodus chapter 25, and God had told His people it was time for them to build a new tabernacle. They had never had such a building before. It was going to be the most elaborate and ornate building ever built by the Jewish people. The question I'm sure came up among those was the same that we'll be asking today. How are we going to pay for the building? God told Moses in Exodus 25, go to those who have a willing heart. Now, what was the outcome of this building campaign? Well, in Exodus chapter 35, we're told that God told Moses, go back to these same people and tell them to quit giving because they had given so much. I think the other Jewish people got caught up in the giving and were so excited about what God was going to do that they became involved in the building the first tabernacle as well. There are a number of reasons why we should be building a sanctuary right now. We know that building costs and interest rates are low, but the most important reasons that we should be building a new sanctuary are spiritual reasons. Building a sanctuary of the quality and the size that we're doing at this particular time will require each one of us to have more faith in God and also to require more prayer and asking God exactly what does He want us to do. When we have special programs such as a children's choir program that we've had to turn people away, now we'll be able to come together as a church, as one group, to worship and praise each Sunday and to do events in our auditorium that we never thought that we could do again. We're going to be able to offer to our community events that will be beyond anything that we thought or felt we could do in the past. In just a few weeks, we're going to be contacting each household in our church family. And we're going to be asking them not for money, but we're going to be asking them to pray. We're going to be asking them to pray for the building campaign. We're going to be asking them to pray for all that will be taking place. We're also going to ask them to share with us prayer requests that they may have. There's nothing that we can do that will not require our prayers. So the most important part of our building campaign is going to be focused on prayers. One of the most exciting things that I have seen God do is to plant within our church the number of young couples that He has. I have been able to see these young couples who have been raised in our church now having children who are also being raised in our church, and they're going to be blessed for generations to come by this new sanctuary. The theme of our capital campaign program is, what can the Lord do through you? I think this is such an appropriate theme for us to have, because not only do we want to see this as the theme for our capital campaign program, but also it needs to be the theme of what God wants to do through each one of us and through the ministries of First Baptist Church as we look forward to building this new sanctuary.